Alright, what is going on? It is Nate, and we're back with another video. I just filmed like this whole thing, and I guess the camera wasn't recording, so we're back. So what I'm going to talk about today is abundance. Abundance is something that most people don't understand. Most people have never really thought about what is abundance, and so I'm going to talk about what is abundance, what abundance truly is, and unlocking this perspective of what it really is will allow you to change who you are, change your frequency, change your life, so then you can have the abundance that you desire, right? So first thing I'm going to ask you is, what would you consider to be an abundant amount of money? What would you consider to be abundance? Right? What amount of money would you say is an abundant amount? 10K, 100K, a million, 100 million, 100 billion, trillion, right? What amount of money to you would feel abundant? Right? So you got your answer, whatever it may be. There's no right or wrong answer, whatever you think. So then, would you agree that if I went to 50, 60 different people and I asked them the same question, would you agree that they would probably all have different answers than what you said? Right? They might say more, they might say less, they might say close to the same, but odds are at least majority of people will not say the same thing. Right? So if you can agree that everybody has a different idea of what abundance is, then can you agree that abundance is not a physical thing? It's not a physical place, right? Because if abundance to me is 100 million and to you it's a billion, then how can abundance be one or the other? Abundance is not a physical thing. It's not a physical manifestation. Abundance manifests into the physical world, but abundance is a feeling. It is a state. It is a frequency. And so you have to realize, okay, if everybody's idea of abundance is different, then if I'm chasing something outside of me, if I'm chasing abundance in the physical world, then I'll never be fulfilled, because once I get that amount of abundance, then I'll want more abundance. I'll want what they have. I want what they have, right? So you can agree that abundance is not a physical dollar amount. There's no right or wrong amount when you say how much is abundant, right? So you can agree that it must be a feeling. Abundance is a feeling. It is a state. Abundance is a state of vibration, right? It's a frequency. So if abundance is a frequency, and you have to also realize that you cannot have anything in your physical world that you do not first have in vibration. You cannot have anything that you do not first feel that you have, that you do not feel you are worthy of, that you do not feel is yours. So what people do is they say, once I have this external amount of money, then I'll feel abundant, then I'll feel grateful, then I'll be happy, then I'll be able to live my life, right? So they're waiting for something in the external world to change so they can feel an internal emotion. But what if I said that the internal emotion is what makes the external world change? Because you can't have it before you are. You can't have something you are not. If you are not a millionaire inside, then you will never have $1 million. So abundance is not a physical goal. It is not a physical realization, because if you think I need a certain amount of money to feel abundant, then once you get that amount of money, you'll say, once I have this amount, then I'll feel abundant. Then I have this amount, then I'll feel abundant. Once I have this, then I'll feel abundant. You will never feel abundant. You will never be on the plane of gratitude, because you will always say, once this happens, I'll be happy. Right? But what if I said that once you step into the state of abundance, whether your bank account, whether your life matches that, does not matter. Once you step into the frequency of abundance and you live in an abundant state before you physically have abundance, what if I told you that is what will cause abundance to move into your life? Because you understand that it goes from spiritual, intellectual, physical. There's a spiritual world. Our minds connect us to the spiritual world, and we have a body. We're living in the physical world. So our minds connect us to the physical. So everything moves from top to bottom. It moves from spiritual, intellectual to physical. So if you become someone of abundance spiritually, then it will have to move into the intellect, which you will see it in your mind, and then it has to move into physical form, and you will have it physically. So people wait for the external world to change. They wait for these external circumstances, these external amount of money, external bank accounts to feel abundant. But odds are the bank account will never come. And even if it does come, you most likely will still not feel that abundance. But feeling is the secret, and at any point you can choose to feel anything you want to feel. So the key is you have to step into that feeling, and that is what will bring the abundance, right? So in the Bible, I forget exactly which verse. I know it's Matthew 13 something. I don't remember which number, but it says that he who has abundance will continue, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't have it memorized yet, but he who has will continue to get more, right? He who has abundance will continue to get more in life, and he who does not have, what he has will be taken away, right? So what is this saying? This is saying that someone who is on the abundant frequency, the abundant state of mind, the abundant mindset will continue to get more. And that person who is in a mindset of scarcity and lack, even what he has will be taken away. Because if you are vibrating at a low frequency and you are coming from a place of scarcity, even what you do have will be taken. It'll be stripped right away from you. Because that's the frequency you're on. You're on a frequency of lack and limitation, so that's what you'll get. Right? So it's not until you have this shift of living on the abundance frequency that more will be poured onto you, right? And why do you think the rich get richer? Why do you think the social media people get free stuff all the time? The companies send them free stuff, right? It's not a coincidence that the rich get richer, that the high get higher. It's because that is the frequency that they're on. And he who has will continue to get more. And he who has not, even what he has will be taken away. So once you realize abundance is not a dollar amount, and abundance is not just money. Abundance is love. Abundance is family. Abundance of relationships. Abundance of happiness. Abundance of health, wealth, prosperity, everything. It's not just money. And once you step into the feeling of abundance, you will see abundance in all areas of your life, and more of it will be poured onto you. But you have to make that decision and make that flip right now and say, I'm living on this frequency. I'm living as an abundant person. I am abundant. Look around you. Start looking at the trees. Look at the bushes. Look at the grass. Look at the cars. You can't even count the amount of abundance around you. Go to the beach and try to count the grains of sand. You can't even fathom the amount of abundance of every single thing in this world, and you think that you are a victim to lack. But the truth is, we give ourselves lack by being on a lack frequency, a lack vibration, a lack mindset, a lack energy. And the second you flip onto the frequency of abundance, understanding that abundance is within, abundance is a feeling, abundance is a state that then manifests physically, then it doesn't matter what you have physically, because you can feel it inside before you have it. You can close your eyes, you can get into a deep meditative state, you can live as the person you want to be, you can live with the money, you can feel the feelings of the person that you want to be, because that version is already living. Creation is finished. Creation is finished. The version of you making millions is already living, so you can tap into that and you can feel that. The more you feel that, the more normal that will feel, the more you can hold that state. The more you hold that state, the more that that will become your new baseline, and the more that you will live from that state. You will take actions from that state. You will think from that state. You will be living from that state, and then guess what? It will manifest physically. But you should not care when it manifests, because you should already feel it. And what happens is you become so detached from what's around you because you have it within you that you don't care when it happens, and that's when things start to happen. When you don't care is when you know you're doing it right. Because if you're focused on the outside world, that means you are relying on the outside world for the way that you feel. But when you could create the way that you feel inside, you don't care what happens outside, because I got it inside. I don't care how much money is in my account, because I got the millions in my account. And you'll see that frequency, truly living on that frequency, right? Now, if you're doing this and your bank account's not going up, then you're doing it wrong, right? So I'm not saying just sit around and think abundance and money will flash into your account. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is the abundant frequency will bring an abundance of everything in your life. And as long as you're taking actions on the opportunities and these steps that are brought to you, you will face abundance. But if you are brought these opportunities, these circumstances, or whatever it may be, and you sit around and let them go away, then yeah, you're not going to change. But step one, it starts in the spiritual world, your thoughts and feelings, especially the feelings. Once your feelings change, your world will start to change. And as long as you flow with that, you let go and you let God, you flow with the change, your world will change. But people try to change the outside world by changing the outside world. They change the effect by changing the effect. It doesn't work. You can't change the effect by changing the effect. If you want to change the effect, which is your physical world, your physical results, your physical income, your physical bank account, then you have to change inside. And that change inside will be what manifests into the physical world, because your current world is you manifested outward. I said that wrong. Your physical world is the inside of you manifested to the outside world, the external world. So if you want to change your external world, you have to change inside. And you have to be so obsessed with who you are inside that you don't care about the outside world, because all of the outside world will begin to match with who you are inside, and then you'll be like, wow, I did it. So understand that abundance is not a dollar amount. Stop chasing abundance, become abundance. Chasing is what keeps you poor. Chasing is what keeps you in lack. Chasing is what keeps you in a state of desire, which is a negative state. Yes, you need to create a desire to start the change, but once you spark that change, you have to live from that state. If you pull up the chart of the different frequencies, desire is toward the bottom. It's almost red. I think it might be red. It might be red or orange. You know, at the top is obviously like brighter colors like blue and purple. And so desire is this lacking state because you're in a state of chasing. So you have to figure out what you want, right? Abundance wise, whatever. If it is amount of money, if your abundance is $1 million, you just can't think of that abundance outside of you. You have to become an inside and say, I am an abundant being. I am living in abundance. I am abundant. You become that version of you frequency wise, vibrationally, and then it can manifest physically. But if you do not become that version of you in vibration, you can never have it physically. So understand that abundance is not something outside of you, it's inside of you. And once you have it inside of you, you will see it outside of you. If you do not have it outside of you, you have not become that version of you inside. That's how you check your results. Look around you. Look around you. People say, is this working? Is it working? Is this working? Look around you. Is it working? If it's not working, say, what do I need to change? What plane am I lacking on? Are my thoughts not matching? Are my feelings not matching? Are my actions not matching? Am I not taking my actions with the right feeling? Figure out what it is. Change it, and you'll see that things will change. So I hope this helps. And just remember that abundance is within you. Abundance is your birthright. Look around you. Look at everything around you. There's abundance of every single thing. I can't even count the amount of cars I've driven by. I can't count the amount of trees, the amount of leaves, the amount of bushes, the amount of things of grass. I can't even count the abundance. And that abundance is your birthright. Because you are a spiritual being, and God, the very God that created all of this, created you, and He wants to live through you in abundance. So if you are not living in abundance, you are living against God's ways, and you must live with God's ways if you want to experience the abundance. So study the world, study the law, study the way things work, study your mind, study yourself. Go within if you want to change your without. Do not go without to change the without. Go within to change your without. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next video.